the Dodgers defeat the Giants 2-1 in an epic series in Game 5. 2 runs for the Dodgers, 1 run for the Giants. I want to talk about the plus and minuses out of this series and out of the Dodgers, what I've noticed since joining the Dodgers baseball team campaign. And real quick, the Dodgers being 110 game winners and the Giants 109 game winners. When I came in, Dodger baseball was not flying as good as it ended. And what I mean is, I think hammering some of the criticism early and the Dodgers correcting it, I think was an important reason why the Dodgers not only ended strong, but won this series. But there is still a lot of lack in the Dodgers offense in these games. And I want to say that although they did win, there was a little bit of luck in this game. Now, the reason why I had the Dodgers winning this series, when I did my math, I broke it down to a couple other things that I didn't want to discuss on those takes until after the series was done. And one of those things was the fact that Vince Scully, his last game, the Giants won versus the Dodgers. And I always knew that the Dodgers were going to have an opportunity one day, not only to return the favor, but to defeat the San Francisco Giants in a series, because Vince Scully, that last game versus the Giants, his last broadcast, the Giants won. That was just one of the outside elements. Now, the Urias not starting deal, I mean, the fans are a little upset because pitch to pitch, it doesn't seem to make any sense. But when your offense isn't clicking, then your manager does have to make decisions that he made, assuming that his pitching staff is what's going to win this baseball game. And technically it did. Although Bellinger made the game-winning hit, the Dodgers only scored 2 runs. It was 2-1. And they were lucky that it was their other opposing team only scored 1 run. Because even 3 runs, that's not enough runs. The Dodgers need to score more runs like they did in Game 4. They won. It was great. It was 1-1. I started my radio show, and right when I started the radio show in that 9th inning, the action occurred. And I had full confidence. I want to thank Ned Coletti for the radio show, because I picked most of those artists from his choice that he liked, assuming that either he already had watched the radio show or listened to it and wanted some song selections, or he already had that on his page. So I played Dino, Frank Sinatra, I played Sammy with Van Halen with Right Now, and I played a couple other songs for him. I played Eric Clapton. So right now, David Vassay is on for the Dodgers post-game report. Now, not starting Urias, like I said, the Dodgers were lucky in a way that they had no run support. They only won by 1 run, 2-1. I had it a 4-2 or a runaway, but the runaway game was Game 4. And that's how the math went. And the Dodgers had to be perfect from the moment I stepped in to be able to accomplish what they accomplished tonight and getting to the point where they won 109, 110 games, including the wild card game, that the Angels were looking at the Dodgers in a loving way, because the Dodgers, the faces underneath those caps, unlike any other baseball team. And I have to tip my hat to Coach Roberts, because I didn't like the move. Although I didn't think that it would have an impact on the game or make a difference, because I thought it would come down to an offensive play. But I never thought the game would come down to a 2-1 game. I thought more of a 4-3 game. So Dave Roberts' pitching decision and it working the first 2 innings with those relievers ended up paying off, having Scherzer as the closer. And that was the difference right there, because you need a man in the 9th inning to close that game. And I knew that was where this was leading to in this situation in a 1-run game. And Max, those fastballs, they were just inability to make a difference. Those players, they just were not going to hit off Max Scherzer. They were off balance from the moment he took the mound, and that strategy, at least in the 9th inning, did pay off. And the Dodgers win 2-1 Game 5. Charlie Steiner, Rick Monday, Dwayne McDonald, and Colin Yee make the call. David Vasse doing the broadcast. This is Cal Jamison on Cal Stanton signing off for the Dodgers, the Los Angeles Dodgers. They win. They win big in an emotional victory at San Francisco, winning after the wind game. And that wind game did have an impact. The fact that they withered that storm in a close game, and those harsh weather conditions, when they went back to San Francisco in the cold with not as harsh those conditions, it just seemed a little bit easier for the boys in blue. YouTube.com.